Welcome back to The Critics, our look at the best and worst of the first half of 2012. We're here at the Madison Theater in downtown Albany, New York. One of the oldest, but one of the coolest movie theaters that's still around digital projection. It's great. All right, now it's time for the biggest disappointments of the first 6 months of the year. Jim, your biggest disappointments?
Oh, there have been so many. Prometheus broke my heart.
Broke your heart.
There was Ridley Scott goes back to the franchise that made him a household name and produced the most derivative, unimaginative science fiction horror space opera I could possibly have imagined.
I thought it was simple, but it wasn't extraordinary.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what it made up for in dazzling visuals, it more than lacked in coherent narrative. Fassbender is about the only thing interesting in that movie. Other than that, face it, been there, done that, and overblown, overpriced, overlong. Stay away. The only thing
you really think, Jim?
and I am going to throw into, for a huge disappointment, one I was really looking forward to, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. I have never seen a novelist take sole screen credit for adapting his own book when they were so determined to treat his work with so little respect.
But I thought it was fun, and it may have been cheesy, but other than the main concept, it was actually historically accurate. That's what I was so surprised about.
They had the right side win the Civil War, and the vampires didn't sparkle. Other than that, Benjamin Walker played Lincoln like he was doing a car commercial for President's Day.
Oh!
Wow. There's nothing here. I mean, even to the photography, Caleb Deschanel, one of the best cinematographers in the history of color film, the guy that did The Natural, and they're bleaching the color and then post-converting it to 3D. Am I allowed to say that it looked like crap? Because it really looked like crap. I hated that movie, and it confirms my opinion that Bekmambetov is mainly a hype job.
I have felt that way from the beginning. I think his films, by and large, have been crocs. So that's my feeling about him, so I'm glad to hear you confirm it.
All right, biggest disappointments, Amy.
I think I have to agree with Prometheus. Now, I didn't hate Prometheus. I'm enough of a geek that I went in wanting to enjoy it, and so I enjoyed it, and I appreciated all the references to previous films. I agree that it's derivative. I think the build-up was so huge that I was bound to be disappointed. It's a good sci-fi horror movie. If you like sci-fi horror, if you're interested in the mythology of the Alien series, I think it's worth seeing. But it's just doesn't hang together, and there were too many things that weren't explained. Like the glittery man at the beginning. Why did he crumble into the water? That's never explained.
And it would have been nice to go back to that.
And I don't want to give away too much, but there is a 180 turnaround in attitude by the aliens and their attitude toward humanity that is never explained. There are many things that just kind of left me scratching my head at the end, and yet I did enjoy aspects of it, such as Fassbender's performance.
I think it was so overblown with the fact that, is it an Alien prequel? Is it not?
And it is. I mean, call it what it is. You called it a distant prequel, and that's what it is. The last scene.
That last scene.
Yeah.
I've got two. In the animated category, I'm going to go with Dr. Seuss's The Lorax. Just wasn't fun. It wasn't clever. I mean, it's nice to look at, but
I liked The Lorax. It was sweet.
It was too simple. Even for Dr. Seuss, it was too simple. And from the guys who brought us Despicable Me, it was a little bit of a disappointment. I'm also going to go with Moonrise Kingdom. I loved... Breathe, Amy, breathe.
Sorry, carry on.
I loved Fantastic Mr. Fox. I thought it was beautiful. It was the best movie of 2009. Here, Wes Anderson's Moonrise Kingdom is just too quirky. And I just didn't fall in love with the characters.
Anderson. You in there? Anderson's quirk on steroids.
Yeah, but
what he does.
With Mr. Fox, I mean, there was already a boundary with Roald Dahl's book, but this was too out there. And I didn't fall in love with the characters at all, or the performances, even though it has such a star-studded cast.
Breathe.
Should I go into my rebuttal now, or wait until the best films of the year? Okay. Okay. I loved that movie. I love that movie because, yes, it's quirky. It's Wes Anderson. Obviously, if you're a fan of Wes Anderson's films, Rushmore, the Royal Tenenbaums, I think you're going to love it. You have to go in expecting that it's going to be mannered and music boxy. And if you expect that, then that won't throw you. At the same time, I thought there was such heart to that film. The performances, I thought, were spot on.
I didn't feel it until the end. I didn't like
I've seen it twice
the two main
already.
characters until the very end.
Oh, I've seen it twice, and I loved it as much the second time.
I think he just focused too much on the outside and not enough on the script itself.
I'm just going to say this.
There we go, the biggest disappointments of the first 6 months of the year.